War Room's Steve Bannon on housing costs and high electricity bills, potentially flipping blue states to red. And that's exactly what's happening. People vote with their dollars, and it's on the Democrat run big cities have become unaffordable. It has become unaffordable. Everything's going up. Taxes are too high, rent's too high, mortgages are high, electricity bills are high, and this is all because of policy, because of the Democrat policy. They're actually harming people that they pretend that they're trying to help. So we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna play the clip and hear what they have to say about it. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. There's a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from the Gateway Pundit. Um, and they report that War Room Steve Bannon discussed housing costs and high electricity bills as a major reason for potential flipping of blue states to red. He shared his thoughts with real estate broker Sophia Georges, who had great insight into the situation. So let's get right to the clip here. Hold on. Here we go. All right. Here we go.
Sophia, tell us, you called it months and months ago. You said this thing's going to come down to affordability, which is what the Marxist jihadists are using as a cover in New York City. But you said two things, Steve: the affordability crisis in housing and the electrical bills. Why is this race a dead heat right now in New Jersey, ma'am?
Yeah, thank you for having me, Steve. Yes, affordability in housing. I saw it coming months ago. People were suffering. I mean, we started seeing a decrease in the qualifications for them to afford a home. I was seeing more and more people in multi-generational households. I was seeing young adults just coming out of school with great paying jobs, but still could not afford a home. And now we're seeing families, as I'm knocking on doors here in Franklin Township, Somerset County, who say, hey, I have a modest sized home and I'm paying $900 a month in utility bills. And this is becoming unsustainable for families. As I knock on doors here in Franklin Township, Steve, doesn't matter if you're a Republican, an independent, or a Democrat, people are feeling the pinch of the day to day grind of sustaining their household. And now their eyes are wide open. Every year for the last 8 years of this Democratic Murphy administration, they've been taking an inch. And this year they've taken a mile. And I think people are now starting to really pay attention. And I'm seeing it here as a microcosm in my town of what's happening in the state. And that is, like you said, translating into the statewide polls that we're seeing now.
You told us 4 or 5 months ago this race is going to come down, and the Republicans are going to win because they're going to come down to affordability on housing and the electrical bills. You were talking about the electrical bills when nobody else talked about it, and I said, "Hey, she's a sweet kid. It's her first time in politics, but it's all coming true." But how do you know that? What are you doing that it gives you the ground truth that this is where this New Jersey race is going to come down to, ma'am?
All right. Well, I'm getting out there and talking to the people right here in Franklin Township, Somerset. I knock on everybody's door, Steve. I knock on Republicans, Independents, Democrats, and particularly when I knock on the Democrats' doors, the first thing I say to them is, have you checked your property tax bills? They say, yes, I did. And I'm lifelong Democrat. I voted Democrat, but this year I am not voting Democrat.
Wow.
And when I hear that, it was a light bulb went off saying, it's all going to come down to affordability. There's two things that's really affected the affordability here in Franklin Township, which is a microcosm, like I said, for the state, what's going on. And that is true, fair, and transparent property tax assessments on the homes, and also these bloated budgets. Right here in Franklin, we saw a 16.6% average increase, and that's their numbers. I believe it's even higher in assessments. The year to date values of assessments in Franklin Township have only gone up 5.7%, according to the Real Estate Commission. Where is that 16.6% coming from? Well, then that brings us to the budgets. They thought that homeowners would think that the property taxes have gone up because of the crazy real estate market with these home prices. But it's really the budget, Steve. In New Jersey, they've seen a 70% increase in this budget, which I know are in the current race is a hot topic that we're going to try to reduce that. Here in Franklin, we have a $73.9 million budget with an almost $20 million cushion. That's almost a 20% difference. And the first thing we need to do is look at where is that money going? There's not
Right.
been a clear answer. So that's one place that we can attack the budget to help bring relief to some of our homeowners. And also these assessments, we need to make sure that they're true, honest, and open, because it's not only about our assessments, this crazy real estate market. This is about grabbing money to fund projects such as the Board of Education, which just makes up 61% of these property taxes.
Yeah.
So there's laws that were in place to cap that value, but they've exceeded it this year. $11 million exceeded in Franklin Township.
Sophie, where do they go? I'll have you back on next week because it's a dead heat in New Jersey across the board. Where do people go to get your campaign information and find out more about what's happening in New Jersey?
Okay. You can go to ftgop.org to learn all about these hot topics we just talked about and more for the campaign that's going on. You can reach me at my website, realsafitrealestate.com. All my handles are there. I post things about this too. I do a lot of social media, so I keep everybody informed. But please pay attention to these local elections. We can only win this if people do come out to vote. We have vote by mail going on right now. Early voting starts October the 25th. Of course, election day is November 4th. But we need people to come out. We need our independents. We need our Democrats and of course, our Republicans to all come out, because I think these issues are a common concern. And I think people will come out in the droves and finally vote for us to make changes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Wow. I mean, imagine if New Jersey would actually vote red. Wow, how big of a shift would that be? How big of a punch in the gut would that be for Democrats? It shows that they've lost the people. They've lost the people. People vote with their dollars, and it's two major things that people look for. They look for affordability and they look for safety. And the Democrats do not offer any of those things. You can't name one Democrat ran city that's a wonderful place to live. It does not exist. And people are starting to wake up, and people are starting to jump ship and vote Republican. But y'all let me know what y'all think about all this. Leave y'all comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.